All right, hey everybody, welcome back. I have been promising for a while that we would talk about what it's like to travel with kids on a long flight. So we are about to take a 16-hour flight from Abu Dhabi into Chicago O'Hare Airport. We're just a few days out. We're about 2 days out from being on the plane, and it's a very early flight. So I guess technically that puts us like 36 hours from takeoff or whatever. But I wanted to walk you through what we have packed and how we are preparing to take our children on this ridiculous long flight, this 16-hour flight. This is basically the same thing that we do every time we take a flight longer than maybe 8 hours. This flight is a flight that we are preparing for a little bit extra because we don't know what will happen with coronavirus. We have no idea what rules are going to be enacted at the airport or on the plane. We've been getting conflicting messages online from airplane administrators. Plus, there's like government level security on top of that. So we're kind of preparing for the worst. When I say the worst, what I mean is we're preparing for to have less availability for our hunger needs, eating needs, drinking needs on the plane. We're expecting to have to buy more stuff and have less stuff be complimentary. We're expecting there to be all sorts of requirements for masks and gloves and who can sit how close to someone else. And as a family of four, we're used to sitting all together. We couldn't even buy 4 seats in a row. So we have no idea what to expect on the plane in terms of whether they will let us sit as a family of four or whether they will force us to split up, whether they'll let the kids sit together or not. So we're kind of planning for the worst so that we can be pleasantly surprised if anything except the worst happens. But here's what we're looking at. So we are inside the room right now where we have all of our packing goods. So let me go ahead and show you what we're looking at. Here on the floor is everything that's coming with us. So it doesn't look like much because it really isn't much. For the last few weeks, we've been planning to basically carry about 5 kilograms on our backs each, and then we get to check baggage as well. Now we have a flight from the UAE to Chicago and then a follow-on flight immediately from Chicago down to Tampa. So that means we have to pack for both American and international flight standards. The difference is about 15 pounds in terms of checked baggage. So here's basically our only checked bag right here. And this bag is weighing in right now at just under 40 pounds, and it's carrying the bulk of everything that everybody needs. We've got another bag right over here. Let's see if you can get it on there. There you go. That's a little carry-on bag. Now, international flights are not letting anybody bring any carry-on baggage onto the plane. That means we can only carry on personal items. We cannot carry on items, which is kind of frustrating. We're all used to being able to have one bag that we bring onto the plane. We're learning that we're only going to be able to carry a personal item each, and that personal item can't weigh more than 10 pounds. So here's what that looks like for us. That means that all of our personal items are basically here. The kids will carry their own personal items, weighing in at 10 pounds or less each. Let's see, this is one of those. We've got some more over here, what the kids will be carrying. Mommy and I will be carrying a larger backpack. That's mine. Here's Jihi's, my wife's. And then, of course, inside of our backpacks is where we'll carry the stuff that the kids need to make it through the flight. So we're going to take books for them, coloring books, crayons, paper, foam earplugs, and then a ton of food. Because like I said, we're expecting little to no support from the plane. So here's what our food packing looks like. We've got everything in a bag, and then inside the bag we've got various tidbits. So here, let me kind of tell you what you're looking at. You're seeing a lot of Cheerios. Cheerios are awesome because they're made of oats. So I love Cheerios, just traditional Cheerios. Very low sugar, very low sodium, majoritively oat powder or oat, like an oat complex, which is excellent for the children because it's not going to destroy their palate. It's not going to oversalt or oversugar their palate. Plus the oats, it's got a good amount of fiber in it. So it fills them up, but it also doesn't ever make their tummy hurt, which is important when you've got kids. And if you think it's funny that I'm using the word tummy, that's how you know you probably don't have kids. So there's the Cheerios. You also see, of course, the rainbow-colored goldfish. Those are a salty snack. Salty but still healthy, so it's a really good fit for whenever they want something with a little bit of flavor. We've got some raisins. You can see the red raisin boxes on there because we want to have some kind of fruit option that's dried so that we don't have to deal with sticky juices or banana peels or anything like that. And then turning around, you see this giant cookie. Now, this cookie looks like a cookie to a kid, but what we know is that it's actually like a protein cookie made with a bunch of like vegan vegetable protein. So it's not just raw enriched wheat flour and sugar. Instead, there's some real protein, some real fiber mixed in there, but the kids, even if it doesn't taste great, once they see that picture, they're going to tear into it. So we've got all of this going on, plus we've got this going on for the kids. So this is our 100% juice that we told you guys about before. So the kids are going to be able to have water, and we'll have a liter of water each ready for the kids for the whole flight. We'll keep refilling it, but then we'll also have those juice boxes ready for them. The juice boxes are kind of like a nice treat, a nice sugar energy pickup if we need to give them a pickup, but because it's coming from juice, the sugar is equally glucose and fructose, so it's a very different kind of spike than if it's just fructose, corn syrup, or something like that. So that's why we always carry juice. So you've seen the juice and you've seen our snacks. I told you we have iPads. On the iPads, we're going to have a mix of audiobooks, downloaded episodes of their favorite shows. We're going to have multiple apps designed for learning. Some of those learning apps will be math, some of them will be language, some of them will be reading, some of them will be comprehensive, like reading comprehension, and then we've also got plenty of art apps. I love art apps because if you're the kind of parent who doesn't want to deal with crayons or markers or erasers or sharpeners being dropped so that they can make their colored pencil sharper, it's awesome to just have an iPad with a few different art apps, whether it's a coloring app, a drawing app, apps that give them mazes, apps that let them trace. There's tons of cool art stuff you can do on a tablet. Now the downside to the tablet is of course the screen time, because the screens are going to hurt their eyes over time. It's going to turn their little brains into like mush. So we try to mix it up between art apps on the iPad and then actual art on pieces of paper with pencils. So we have, if I can find it in my wife's bag, which I cannot, but in my bag, what I actually have is colored paper and plain white paper and a box of crayons and a box of markers and a box of colored pencils. So what we'll be able to do is, whether we're in the airport or on the plane, whether we're stuck on the tarmac or whether we're mid-flight, we'll have lots of different options that we can use to entertain the kids and keep their minds occupied. Now, what does that mean about our minds? Well, we're planning that of the 16 hours, a solid 12 or 14 hours is really going to go to us entertaining the kids. We're not going to get a lot of movie watching time. That's not really how it works when you travel across the world with kids sitting next to you. But what we will get to do is help guide their process, and then as we're guiding their learning process, we'll be able to stimulate and hopefully exhaust their energy reserves mentally, which is going to mean that they're going to take a nap. Ideally, they're going to take longer than a nap. They'll sleep for 3, 5, maybe 6 hours if we can get them to. And when they're asleep, that's our time to recharge. So that's our time to take a nap, our time to watch a movie, our time to read our book, whatever it might be. And then, of course, while they're playing on their iPads, if they're doing artwork or if they're doing a learning game or even just a straight-up entertainment game, whatever it might be, those are little breaks that we get as adults too. So breaks that we can go to the restroom, whatever else it might be. We're also setting watch alarms. We have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old. Our 2-year-old recently potty trained, and we don't want to force her to wear a diaper because she's really proud of not wearing a diaper. So what we're going to do is we're going to set watch alarms that are in sync with all 4 of us so that the alarms go off every 4 hours and remind all of us that it's time to use the bathroom. So this is similar to how we potty trained our daughter. So she knows that when the alarm goes off, it's a time to visit the potty, and if something happens, then great, and if nothing happens, no pressure. We're going to keep that going on the plane so that we prevent against an accidental accident on the plane. If she's getting ready to go to sleep, if we start seeing that she's tired, we'll just skip that 4-hour alarm, take her to the restroom, let her do her thing, come back, strap her in, tie her down, turn off her lights, let her go to sleep. Our son has been potty trained for many years, so we're less worried about him, but the big thing for us is we don't want to deal with an accident on our daughter in her car seat, in an airplane, 6 hours into a 16-hour flight. So that's, in a nutshell, kind of everything that we're planning for. So you've seen our bags, you've seen what we're carrying, you've seen the food, you've heard our entertainment plan, you've heard our potty plan, you've probably heard me say more daddy words than you ever cared to hear from me, but that's pretty much everything we have going on. If all goes well, in about 72 hours, we'll be landing in Tampa, and we'll be settling back into the United States, just getting over jet lag, and then in just a few days after that, we'll be full steam ahead with building the business and getting everything lined up for a summer's worth of intelligence contracting in the United States. But that's what I have for now. Stay tuned, and my next video should either be right before we go to the airport or even at the airport. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.